Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm doing a do-it-yourself writing MFA program. So this is something a little bit different that I'm doing on my channel. Usually I have things like vlogs, and then I have things like instructional videos, and I'm just mashing those two together in a hybrid, and I'm going to kind of share my journey with you guys because I am still learning. If you're here, then you're probably still learning, so why don't we learn together? I am actually basing this off of a blog post that was on my writer's blog that I share with a bunch of critique partners. It's called Writer's Block Party, and we had a post go up recently about MFA programs and how to do your own MFA. Using that blog post as my rubric, I'm going to talk a little bit about my plans, what I want to do, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I'm planning to do during my do-it-yourself writing course program. If you want to check out the post, you can go over to our blog. It's writersblockpartyblog.com. So a lot of the things in the blog post talk about the different things that you get from a MFA program. And at the very end, it does a do-it-yourself guide, and it talks about the different elements that you can just kind of mash together in order to create the elements of an MFA program. Of course, you won't get that nice diploma at the end or the credentials of having a Master's of Fine Arts, but the experience is half of the battle, so this is what I'm going with for now. One of the things that it says to do is to get a critique group, and I am very lucky because I already have amazing critique groups and amazing critique partners, but if you don't have critique groups or critique partners, then I will link some resources down below. There's a lot of places online that you can go to. CP Match is a thing on Twitter. If you are ever involved in anything on Twitter that involves pitching or pitch contests, then you can also meet other people who are like-minded and maybe get a critique partner, or there are forums or meetups, but I'm going to link all of those down below because that's a whole video in itself. Another thing is craft sites. So of course I already told you my own, that's writersblockpartyblog.com. We talk a lot about writing, industry, publishing journey, things like that. Another one that I really love is publishingcrawl.com. Those people are amazing at PubCrawl. They also have a podcast, and they've had so many alumni who've gone on to have amazing book joys and accomplishments, so definitely check them out. There's also a YA Reddit, and I will link some more craft sites down below because I can't think of a lot of them off the top of my head right now, but there are amazing ones, and if you want to know about any of them, then I'll try to put as many sites as I can think of in the description box. So the next thing is craft books. The next step after looking at craft sites, which are free advice out there on the internet for you, is craft books. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through a very long TBR list of craft books that I have been collecting over the years, and I'm going to reread some of the ones that I have already read. So here are a few of those that I plan on reading. The first one is Stephen King's On Writing. So this one is a really popular book that I hear people talk about all the time, and as you can see, I've kind of already started to read it. It's part memoir, or it's mostly memoir, where he does talk about his journey with craft. So it's definitely as if you're reading a nonfiction, but it does give some really great advice because obviously Stephen King is kind of a master of his particular craft, so I plan on rereading this. The next one is On Writing Well by William Zinsser. So this is actually about writing nonfiction. It was suggested to me by my critique partner and cousin, and she really liked some of the craft advice that he gave here about kind of the ins and outs and the nuts and bolts of writing. And I did find that it kind of got me in the mindset of writing. It wasn't all necessarily directly applicable to writing fiction because it is for nonfiction and journalism, but you know, sometimes just the act of getting words on the page can translate across genres. So I really am going to reread this and pay attention to all of the small details of his advice. Next one is Save the Cat. I actually cheated because I just finished reading this book, so this was the kickstart to my do-it-yourself writing course. This is really great because it gives you a very nice beat sheet. Of course, this is not for fiction writing either. This is actually for screenplay writing, but Blake Schneider just gave a really great outline for what the basics of creating a 3-act story is in his beat sheet, and it is really helping me to figure out what I'm going to do with my next story. The next one is the breakout novel, and as you can see, I've already read this one before as well. These are all rereads for me, but I think that rereading, especially rereading something like a craft novel, is really great because you pick up on things you didn't pick up on before. And I also think that some of these books I read too fast. So So when it comes to craft novels, I do think you have to take your time because you have to absorb the information. It's more like academics than for fun reading. I have to go back to my school days, which was a little while ago, so I'm going to reread all of these and try to just take more detailed notes. The next one is The Kick-Ass Writer by Chuck Wendig, and this one is a little bit of a quicker read because it's little sections of just like bullet pointed things that have to do with each topic, like character development or creating emotion or dialogue or things like that, or just getting your butt in the chair and writing. So I'm going to just use this as kind of inspiration more than studying craft, but I think it is a good book when it comes to quick bullet pointed advice for a writer. The next one I'm going to read is The Art of Character. I actually did read half of this book already, but I didn't finish it, and so that's my goal, to finish it, because I really think that this did a really good job so far of what I read in letting me know what kind of ways to build up a character from the ground up and make them believable and make them relatable and make them worth following through a story. The final one is Wonder Book, and this is actually one of my favorite craft books. I've said many times on Twitter that I love it. I've actually never finished reading it, and that's because it is so long. And it's also really beautiful, like lots of nice illustrations. It has so many contributors in here that gave so much good writing advice, and I think that's why it's taken me so long to read it. And I think that this is one of those books where you really do have to take your time to absorb the information. So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to read it very slowly, and I can't wait to read and then finish this book because I think that it's really going to give me a lot of inspiration. Just looking at the illustrations alone gives me inspiration, so I'm really excited to finish this book. So those are the craft books that I'm going to read for my do-it-yourself writing course MFA, and if you guys are interested, I can do reviews on them once I finish them, but I'm going to move on to the next leg of this, which is reading books that are similar to your book or will give you inspiration in your own writing. So I have some books that I pulled out that I think are going to help me with my next project, which is a young adult fantasy based on Korean culture, and I want to put a lot of fun mythology in it, and I want to put a lot of characters in it. I pulled out some books that I think will be some fun inspiration for that, just get my mind working towards that level of fantasy writing and character development and world building. Some of these books are also going to be rereads, but like I said, I think rereading a book will show you things that you just didn't see the first time around. So the first book that I want to read is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I actually have not finished this book before, but it is some of my critique partners and friends' favorite fantasy book, so I feel like I've been really remiss in not reading it, and I've heard that the world building is amazing. I've heard that the characters are amazing. I've heard that the relationships that they build with each other are great, and that is all stuff that I really want to be better at my own writing, so I can't wait to finish this book. This one is a new read for me. It's The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and Holly Black is just one of my hero authors. The way she crafts words, the way she creates worlds and characters and magic systems and conflict and love and like sibling relationships and hate enemy relationships, everything is so amazing in every book that I've ever read by her. And this one, we go back to the world of the fairies, and you can't get more fantasy than fairies, and I just can't wait to dive into this one. I can't wait to see what she does with these characters. I'm really excited to see how she crafts this book, and I think it's gonna make me inspired in so many ways. The next one is Spirit Hunters by Ellen O, and Ellen O is another hero author of mine. I just love how she incorporates Korean culture into her books. I love how seamless it feels. I love how natural it feels. I love how I can relate to her characters and how they make me feel like I am seeing a mirror of myself on the page. And she just came out with this book this summer. It's a middle grade horror, and involves Korean shamanism, which is something I'm really interested in, both just my reader life and as a writer. I have included shamanism in a story before, and I just want to really see how she crafts it and does it, and I'm very excited to read this book. And the final one is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is a reread times 10 or whatever. I've read this book 1,000 times, but it's because it is my favorite fantasy book. So of course, if I'm going to be doing a do-it-yourself writing craft class, then of course I want to dissect one of my favorite fantasy authors of all time, Laini Taylor. I might also read her older book, which is Blackbringer, but for sure I'm going to read this one, and I'm going to do this one first. I have a huge pile, as you saw, so hopefully I can get to all of them, but I do want to see in a more maybe analytical writer way, like study student way, how she created a world that has never ever ever let go of my heart. I just adore this book. Okay, and the final thing that I am going to do for my do-it-yourself writing course MFA is I'm going to set hard deadlines for myself. This is going to be mini Nano. I know Camp NaNoWriMo actually just ended, so I'm late to that boat, but I'm going to just do it for myself. I'm going to hold myself accountable for the whole entire month of August, and I'm just going to see how many words I can get on the page, but I'm going to try to do 2,000 words a day. There, I said it on video, I can't take it back. Okay. Alright, so yes, I'm going to try to do 2,000 words a day. I have started to bullet journal, so we'll see if that will help me keep myself accountable. And I've transferred everything over to Scrivener, which I never draft in Scrivener, but you know what? I'm gonna do it and see how it helps with my creative process. And the final thing that I am doing is I am actually going on a mini writing retreat with one of my favorite writer friends. We are actually going to a beach house, so it's going to be half relaxing vacation but half writing retreat. And the idea is that I just want to get away from my normal everyday routine, away from my apartment and the city that I live in, so that I can change it up, change my brain up, and see if that will help kickstart some inspiration and if I'll write some more. So stay tuned, because maybe I'll vlog some of my writing days, and I will definitely be back with some reviews of those writing craft books. I think that's it. I have nothing else to say right now. This video is getting really long, so if you have any ideas for a do-it-yourself MFA or writing program that you think I should try out, then definitely leave a comment down below. You can tweet at me at CatShow. If you have any other questions, concerns, ideas, thoughts about anything writing, reading related, then definitely reach out to me. And if you like this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up or a subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.
Yeah.